to start?
You have the floor, Chaos. Go ahead.
Okay, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the Rebellion's Edge podcast. This podcast will be Uncharted versus the Tomb Raider series. It will basically be a compare and contrast between Tomb Raider and Uncharted, what we like about the series and what we, I guess, dislike about them, and which one I suppose we think is better. And we will also be talking about Overwatch and the online components of Overwatch. And I really have nothing to add to that. So, yep, I am Captain Chaos, and with me, joining me, I have a few other people. We have Reapers, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's, you know what it is, fucking Reapers.
Awesome. And we have Devil Hunter James.
How's it going, guys?
And we also have Renegade Operative.
Do we?
Hello, good sir.
I wasn't sure. And we also have Brandon. Brandon, if you want to say something.
Hi.
Great
Well,
intro, buddy.
Very informative.
A little flaccid, but alright.
Like his
That's what she said. Anyways. And last but certainly not least, we have Levy the Amish Man.
I was about to say, were you going to skip me or something?
Yes, that was my intention.
Damn it! Fine, yeah, it's me.
Awesome.
That's it.
All right, and I think we have one more person to skip over to feed Mr. Dominic.
Yeah. Captain
Yeah,
Vegan.
unfortunately,
Oh.
I don't know shit about Uncharted or Tomb Raider. I've only played
Roast
the
Sean
first
this
Tomb
man.
Raider
Sean.
reboot game and Uncharted 4, and I haven't even completed Uncharted 4, so I'm sitting this one out until they get to the Overwatch section, which we'll talk about later.
They're shit-talking you in the comment section right now.
All right, so
I'm good. Let them.
all right, so I think we should get to the first question, which is the graphics. So, which excels better? The Tomb Raider reboot graphics only, because comparing that obviously to Uncharted with the PS1 games, that ain't
and
fair.
PS2.
So, yeah.
No, it ain't really fair.
So we're talking about the reboots only versus Uncharted. So who wants to go first?
Well, honestly, it's still an unfair comparison because Uncharted 2, 3, and 4 dominates Tomb Raider.
Really? Even Rise?
Yeah. Rise has good graphics up, but Uncharted 4 still takes it. If I could, if I compare it to like the newer ones, then yes, 4 takes it.
I agree with Brendan,
More
man.
vibrant.
You gotta be really dumb to think that Rise is better than anything Uncharted does.
I put it like this. I will agree that the animations are better. They're not a slouch, of course. They're not bad graphics, but Uncharted obviously excelled the more they went on with Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2, and then there was that big leap of Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4. So I think
Uncharted
the effects look fucking fantastic.
I think Uncharted 2 was like the big jump in graphics, because that was like a graphical, like when that came out, that was people, even PC gamers are like, this looks really impressive.
Yep. And
Fuck,
3
dude.
stumped it.
Fucking buildings were falling. You got the parkour, like, from building to building. That shit was fucking awesome.
Yeah. In terms of graphics, I have only played the first of the Tomb Raider reboots. I didn't play Rise yet, so I can't really speak for Rise. But in comparison to at least the first Tomb Raider, yeah, Uncharted 4 obviously wipes the floor with it. Facial animation, just the animations, the motion capture was great for it. Everything just looks just very realistic. Don't really care that it's not running at 60 frames, because everything just looks amazing, and there's hardly ever a dip in frame rate.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say Uncharted 4 is definitely the winner.
Yeah, but I was going to mention, like, even though we're not going to compare the old ones, but for its time, the old Tomb Raider games were good for their time.
Yeah.
Hell, even Legends kind of had good visuals, and Underworld did too. But yeah, as I agree that as much as Rise had better graphics in the first reboot, I think Uncharted basically just killed everything with it.
Yeah, and I will say, to add on to that, Laura had some weird hair physics in Tomb Raider, the first reboot. It was like very
He tried-
strange.
Like Ren, they're trying to make her hair physics the new booth physics for her for the classic series.
It didn't even make
it
sense.
is.
But it looked weird. It was like all of a sudden it's in her face, and all of a sudden it's away from her, and it's like.
Didn't they kind of fuck up? Didn't they kind of fuck up the graphics for the PS4 version or the remaster or whatever they?
I think they changed their face, right?
Yeah, they like changed some things and it looks good, and people were complaining about that. Looked kind of weird.
I was
talking about
complaining
the
they
definitive
touched
edition?
edition.
Yeah, the remaster of it or the PS4.
Yeah,
version.
she looks awful in the definitive version.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Whoever made the game saying that. Oh yeah, they were saying that she looks original.
Yeah, it's basically just a money grab.
Yeah, the definitive version, it looked even worse.
Thanks, Blair.
Even Dom is saying her hair looked really fucked up in there.
The irony behind that.
I wouldn't say
Definitive
square.
looks worse.
It didn't have Geralt's hair physics from The Witcher.
Yeah, it wasn't good ass hair physics.
The NVIDIA hair
If
physics.
you don't mind me clarifying really quick, I will say, because I have seen a little bit of the definitive edition of the reboot Tomb Raider. What they did with like her face and hair was that like her face was completely different from the PS3 and 360 versions of the game, and for whatever reason, the hair physics or whatever, like I don't know what it was on the PS4 version, but it looked like it was just like little strands of like fucking like a burnt mop or something like that. It looked really bad in my opinion. Like, you can see each individual strand. Like, you're not supposed to really, and not in a good way where it's like you can, like, it's detailed. It's more like it was like half-assed sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see each individual strand, but it's at half-assed.
Yeah, I have I've got the PC version, and I don't remember it having that problem. So I don't know. They really fucked that up. I don't know if they were like. They had fucking Tom Hewlett in there, and he was like, "We need to change shit." You know, he was just trying to do George Lucas stuff with the game.
Well, real quick, just to clarify.
Don't say the name.
Just to clarify, the PC version is just the base 2013 version with better graphics. The definitive version is the ones that are on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So that's where they fucked up her face, and it had some weird effects.
Yeah, they like were trying to change her face structure to make her look like a certain race. I don't know, like which one? Like she looked like she was Asian.
I don't know, man. The last of the Mohicans. I don't know.
She's from fucking like London.
No. I know she's from Britain, but there's like for some strange reason for one of the graphics, her facial structure made her look a bit Asian, but it's not it at all. I'm like, look at this. Like, wait, aren't you British?
You're never a whole woman without a pork bun.
Right.
Oh, Dom put it in the chat. Take a look. Look at that.
Thank you.
That's weird. What the fuck?
Like the original quote unquote Tomb Raider looks a little bit more better.
So yeah, I'm noticing like her lips look different. Her eyes look different.
Bigger?
Man, why did Freddy Krueger face fuck her nose?
She looks more tan. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but
she has more color.
She's getting
her eyebrows are more emphasized for some reason.
Yeah, more shaders, more lighting detail from what I can see.
Dude.
Yeah, like some of it is just like graphical enhancement.
Yeah, and also they had another comparison, PS4 and PS3.
That looks like she's doing like
dude,
a
she looks fine.
It's fucking PS3 version.
Not enough bust, if you ask me.
I have to agree. Her tits are bigger in the classic. But
Yeah, we're gonna do a Dead or Alive extreme. Fucking
Well,
breast
before we
physics.
diverge,
Oh.
we need to move on to the next one. So I need Mr. Levy the Amish Man to read off the next question if he has the document.
No, can you link me the document real quick?
Hold on and give me a minute.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it. Hold on.
Oh, let's see who gets it first. I got it.
one of these crazy
No,
ones.
okay, nah,
Oh,
Chaos
you
got it.
motherfucker.
No, actually, no, Chaos
No, I
got it first.
Never mind.
Hi, bitches. Anyways, okay, we were talking about graphics. Okay, in the department of story, which do you think is more captivating? Tomb Raider, any of the Tomb Raider in the series, or any of the Uncharted games?
Uncharted.
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 It
It's
depends.
more story driven.
Well, it depends on what kind of story you really, really want, though. Like,
Good one.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tomb
Admittedly-
Raider.
like I've played Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I thought Rise of the Tomb Raider had a lot better story than the first reboot.
Yeah, well, I can only speak for the first one, but it does kind of depend, because if you want like kind of it's the first Tomb Raider reboot is more like, her rise to power, so it's more like a prequel-esque thing. Uncharted is more like if you're looking for an Indiana Jones sort of adventure, then you'd go with that.
So no classic story, right?
You could, yeah. Well, I did say any in the series, so old one too.
The old one stories are actually better than the new one, to be quite honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, because her character is better, and like in the new one,
she's not crying and whining about how I shot a person. Now I'm gonna kill like 50 more people.
Yeah,
and then come at me, you bastard.
Dude, that was so weird. Like, she literally killed a person, and she was upset about that. And then all of a sudden, you get to the second chapter, and you're mowing down the whole village. It's so weird.
I got what they were trying to do with her character, but it really doesn't like.
It's too fast.
It doesn't go with the gameplay, because like you can't have a character in a cutscene like trying traumatize over the fact I killed somebody, but you're gonna have gameplay that involves you like mowing down a bunch of dudes. It just doesn't fit.
I will say, at least Drake, he's happy when he kills people. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop kick you to sleep. I'm gonna smack your grandmother. I'm gonna hit you with a fish."
He'll literally do the dab.
He'll do the dab on your
Jab
body.
is the best.
Didn't they try to do that with fucking Ryu Hayabusa and Ninja Gaiden 3, where it was like, oh, you're killing people, you're a terrible person for it, or something?
No.
They tried.
No, that's
I thought
not
they did.
Vanilla Ninja Gaiden 3.
Yeah.
They took some of that stuff out in Razor's Edge, but just to clarify.
I don't want to diverge, but that was retarded. 2 games of him murdering.
Yeah, I was just
hundreds of demons
comparing
and then-
because.
Yeah, okay. This is so dumb.
But yeah, I mean, like, I did like what they were trying to do, because they were trying to portray her as like, she's a normal person. She doesn't know what she knew in the, in the old games yet. So she's kind of like an amateur at this. And I kind of could buy most of that. So the only thing is that the gameplay doesn't really reflect that.
No.
But,
Give me the
cutscene
fucking
wise.
pistols. I'm sorry, give me the pistols.
I do miss
Still
the
no
two pistols too. Holy shit, the 2 pistols
What
and the
the fuck?
backflips. I do miss that shit from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah,
James
I
is
like how the
basically-
gameplay of it though was more gritty than the other games. Like, it was trying to be a little bit more graphic and everything, and I thought that was pretty cool.
A little more
The
realistic.
It's like a darker take on
They
Tomb
missed
Raider.
the point of Tomb Raider is not about doing what Drake does, just murder people all day. She does more exploration and
If I could say something about the reboots, it feels a lot like the Uncharted games. Like, they took a lot of inspiration from that, and they just pretty much made an Uncharted game with Lara Croft.
which is not Tomb Raider.
Because you're hardly ever raiding tombs, and the tombs that you do raid are just these little like areas.
Yeah.
And
Those
it
little-
just doesn't feel like a Tomb Raider game per se.
Real
So
quick, I wanted to ask Levy, didn't they sort of fix that? The problem that the tombs were so small in the original reboot that they needed to expand on them in Rise of the Tomb Raider?
From what I've seen, that's what they were trying to do, but I don't know.
Still optional.
Yeah, it's from the reboot and Rise. It felt like the same thing. All it is was just an optional thing to diverge yourself from the story to get 100%. It's still the same thing, except Rise is bigger, has bigger tombs than that.
Damn, that should have been the main story. Jesus, what were they
Yeah,
doing?
the tombs more or
Also-
less.
Also, if it sounds like I'm a bit out of it, I'm working overnight shifts and also waking up is kind of bleh.
He's a vampire. He sleeps during the day and he goes out at night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you guys are finished with this segment, unless Chaos wants to say something.
I was just gonna say how the tombs felt like an afterthought in that game, and it was just mostly like tacked on. But
Yeah.
Pretty
that's
much.
pretty much it.
Yeah, like they're like, hey, let's make a game about kind of like a coming of age story with Lara Croft. What about tombs? Let's just throw them in last.
And I say the
It's a
Uncharted
dumb-
story, they have good characters. Like, it's really good characterization. If you look at the Tomb Raider games, especially if you just look at the reboot in particular, you meet side characters and they're not that interesting because they get killed off rather fast. With the Uncharted series, these side characters grow on you throughout the entire story, and they're there to the very end, which makes it cool and awesome because it's like an experience with characters that you know for years as the sequels goes on. So I think that stuff like Sully and Elena, you get really attached. So yeah, Sam, you get attached to these characters even though you probably either just met them or knew them for a long time, which Uncharted does fantastically.
Right.
You know, I do have to ask a question, and I already know we're trying to compare, but from each one, like from Tomb Raider and Uncharted, which one was the best story in that series? Each. Like recently, because I'm going to say 4 had a really good story, so I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
I would say 4 as well, just because. I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed with certain aspects of 4's story, but I thought it was good for the most part. Definitely the best in the series, in my opinion, in terms of story.
Yeah.
I will say Uncharted 4 and maybe Tomb Raider 2 because they had some elements that were, pretty interesting and mysterious. That's where Tomb Raider is really good, when stuff is mysterious that you don't know about. I guess that would kind of apply to the first game as well for the Tomb Raider series.
Oh, another thing that the reboot kind of seemed to not use as much as supernatural things.
Yeah, that's also true.
Well, near the end it kind of does, but
well, not as much because like Ren said, it's about mystery and mostly supernatural things.
There's some zany shit in Tomb Raider.
The thing with Tomb Raider is the supernatural stuff usually doesn't until the later half of the game. For the most part, it's usually shooting animals and occasionally shooting people.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a weird twist.
Dinosaurs. Oh, I remember that.
It was a T-Rex.
Fuck that T-Rex.
That was awesome.
All right, so I think we need to move on to the next one. I want Mr. Devil Hunter James to read off that, please.
Makes sense.
In the department of gameplay only, which excels better in your eyes, and how would you distinguish which is better factually? Tomb Raider, any game in the series, or Uncharted, any game in the series? I don't know.
Can I go first?
Yeah, I'll let Brandon take a shot at it.
Well, this is me not being biased, and I'm being real honest about it. As much as I like Tomb Raider has clunky controls compared to Uncharted.
Which one?
Classics.
Which classics, though? There's a lot of them. Somewhat, I can see what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if you're trying to compare like the reboot or just like all the games in the series.
All of them, gameplay-wise. I would say if you really want to get technical, you would probably say the classics had more diverse combat than some of the reboot. But compared to Uncharted, I don't know.
Yeah, the classics, like, I don't know, that they haven't, in my opinion, in terms of, they just haven't really aged too well.
They're acquired skill in
the
that
movement and just the jumping and everything. I remember being really frustrating in Tomb Raider.
Side steps, side jumps.
Yeah, it's just Lara's incredibly slow, and she just like I don't know.
They fixed the slow stuff. If you mean running speed.
I think that's
running speed and just like the jumping and everything. You have to be precise, and it's just
the jumping got better in the PS2 games.
Yeah, you can easily fall off a ledge in like the older PS1 games. It's also, really easy to fuck up and die.
Also, I want to add something real quick. Uncharted 1 controls are terrible as well.
The melee attacks, hell no, that shit that needed to be fixed.
Also, the grenades.
I feel like they really improved the gameplay as the games progressed, though. Like Uncharted 2 definitely had some of. Uncharted 3, like Uncharted 2 had pretty much improved everything that the first one kind of did wrong, and then the third game had the thing where you could throw back grenades, and that was cool. I will give Uncharted 4 shit for not having that, though. I don't know why they took that out.
Same here.
Because there's so many situations in that game, especially if you're on crushing, people are going to be lobbing grenades at you all the time. And if you had the mechanic where you could throw them back, that would be like a lifesaver in some situations. But Yeah, I think that in general, Uncharted had better gameplay. I mean, Tomb Raider, like especially the reboot, was trying to be sort of like Uncharted in terms of its gameplay. It had different things though, like different mechanics, but it was more or less trying to be like Uncharted. So I think Uncharted just did it generally better. Just the shooting and everything, and the swinging around and the climbing and everything. It just feels a lot more fluid and just generally better.
And real quick, I
Yeah.
want to add on before you go, Levy. It seems like they tried to add something different to Tomb Raider, which was the crafting. But that was about the only memorable thing that I
Yeah.
remember from that game, that they did something new.
Fuck crafting.
Yeah.
You saying Minecraft?
Well, they did that shit with Dead Space too, with the crafting.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I
but then
remember.
That was fun though.
Yeah. Like I understood why they did it for Tomb Raiders, because you're trying to survive out in a harsh environment and you need to make all these items in order to get past things.
Yeah.
Like to make a bow, you need to make arrows, you need to make all these, which made sense for that one, but would it save the game with its gameplay? Not really. That's
Just
why
give me the
Uncharted's-
damn pistols. There you go. Better
James
gameplay.
like, just let me shoot the freaking guns.
Yes, the thing that she is extremely famous for using that she doesn't use now.
Although I will say, yeah, the gameplay is a lot better for the Uncharted. Although Tomb Raider and Uncharted kind of had the same gameplay, I'm still going to give it to Uncharted because, I don't know, I just feel like they improved it a lot better as the series progressed.
Yeah, I think the shooting, the fighting, some of the set pieces, they were very fine-tuned. Even with some of the removal of these big giant set pieces in Uncharted 4, it still felt like whenever you got involved in them, it was a big danger at hand because shit was falling down, stuff was getting real, people were dying. So I'm glad that they kept that whole dramatic element and they carried over what they learned from The Last of Us and they put some of that in Uncharted, because there's some small little nuggets of emotion there that are in Uncharted 4 that really don't excel well in Tomb Raider because you don't feel anything for some of the characters. So and that is a bad thing when you try to make something a little bit more dramatic come off as a little bit more dramatic. If you don't care, then it's not going to be interpreted well.
Right.
So I think that we can move on to the next one. So Mr. Reapers, could you read that off, please?
Let me see. Both series had memorable notes of music. Which stood out for you more, Tomb Raider, any games in the series, or Uncharted, any games?
Uncharted.
To me, yeah, Uncharted. Like Tomb Raider, I cannot remember any specific tracks that I thought stood out. I mean, if you guys remember, like the old PS1 games had pretty much no music at all. For the most part, actually, there were some parts where it did have music, but there was a lot of just like nothing in terms of music.
Okay, I played Tomb Raider 2. I would say you are kind of correct on that, because the only parts they had music on was the parts where either something was going on in the background, or you're about to be in danger, or you're getting attacked. It usually happens when there's an action.
Yeah, I think
Uncharted
it made it more
has full
atmospheric, but at the same time, it kind of hurt it because I would rather there be music.
Yeah, Uncharted has full musical scores in their sections.
It's good for atmosphere, but like you don't really. It's not for me at least. It's not anything memorable. It's not something I'm going to be humming like randomly.
Yeah.
It's just something you hear and it's like, oh, it's alright. It sounds cool.
Yeah, but with like Uncharted though, there was nothing like I did like the music, but I couldn't point to a specific track where I was like, okay, this is really good.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, the only track for Uncharted's key is
the intro.
Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is true. The main theme for the games are pretty catchy. I will say that.
Yeah.
Although I think the main theme for Uncharted 4 wasn't the best.
It was really subdued. I guess that was what they were going for, because it's really subdued compared to the other ones.
Yeah, because it's the final game, which makes sense. But at the same time, it's not as bombastic as like you see in 2 and 3.
Yeah, in general, a lot of people are saying that the soundtrack for Uncharted 4 took a bit of a hit because they don't have the same guy, Greg Edmondson. They don't have him on board anymore. It's kind of funny because the guy who composes that actually composed Civil War. in Uncharted 4. So it's the Civil War composer. So if you think about Black Panther beating Bucky's ass, then you would literally think about that.
Henry Jackson?
Yes, Henry Jackson.
Yeah, he also did the soundtrack for Kick-Ass, Kick-Ass 2, Big Hero 6, The Interview, and Just Cause 3.
Yeah. So
and Wreck-It Ralph, let's not forget
Just Cause 3, that game that almost nobody played.
I actually played it. I had fun with it.
Yeah, I think it's just the performance.
Yeah, Greg Edmondson was the composer.
Yes, he was. So that was a huge detriment. But still, Uncharted 4 had good music. They had musical pieces, so and it was prevalent throughout what you were doing. And it really fit, especially in the Jeep scene where you're sort of talking with Elena and you drive in the Jeep and she stops talking to you. And that musical score that plays while you're in the Jeep is sort of somber. That's pretty cool that they did that. It really just touches you somewhere.
God damn it, Brandon, Uncharted Civil War.
Damn it, I can't make anything appeasing without these guys being fucking faggots.
Well, he has a point into it because of Uncharted 4.
Alright, so
Where's 15-year-old Spider-Man?
Alright, so I think we need to move on to the next one. So, Mr. Chaos, could you read off one of the questions in the document, please?
Okay. Which game had the most revolutionary features as each entry progressed, in your opinion? Tomb Raider, any game in the series, or Uncharted, any game in the series? I don't know if I'd call the features revolutionary. I would say like they got, graphically they became more impressive. The gameplay was fairly standard for the type of game genre it was. It was just a fun game. Like I believe I've said this. It was either about Uncharted or something else before, but it didn't do anything innovative. But it was fun, and that was the point. Same thing with Tomb Raider, really. It was similar type of game, although it was more about exploration. I can't really say that about the reboot though. But it pretty much, I don't know if there was anything in particular that stood out to me. So I don't know. I'll have to kind of pass on that one unless anybody else has something to say.
I guess in terms of adding features, like the Uncharted series got a lot more diverse, especially the fact that now it's like the grenades were a problem in the first game, and now you can throw them back when it came to the third game. So they added some refinements to each one. The animations got a lot more fluid for Uncharted 4. So I would say stuff like that. Maybe for the classic Tomb Raiders, you can think of them adding like new weapons to the table. They weren't revolutionary, but when you go from just having your standard stuff in the original games to adding something new in the later games, they each did something to their own right. So, but in terms of something revolutionary, like new that we never seen before, of course not, because they're typical third-person shooters,
Although I guess in terms of like Tomb Raider, if you're talking about like the older games, I guess you would say it's one of the, well, maybe not the first, but one of the rare games that had like a female protagonist. At least the
prominent
ones.
female protagonist as well, because Laura
because there weren't
that
icon. Many games at the time that had one. There were still games that had them, but not nearly as many. So I guess it was one of those games that had one. So I guess that was kind of different to see at the time.
Because the only hero protagonists that were female that everyone liked were either Tomb Raider or Samus Aran.
Literally the only example I can think of off the top of my head is like Perfect Dark. I was on like N64.
Oh, Joan Dark.
Well, no, Perfect Dark with
yeah, that's the character's name. Is Joan.
That was her name. I completely forgot. But yeah, that was that.
That grappling hook's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
You mean in the reboot?
No, in Uncharted.
Oh, okay. I remember the reboot of Tomb Raider had like something like a grappling hook.
It did, and also had like if you wanted to get from one area to another, you could shoot a line with a bow and arrow.
I think it controlled better in Uncharted though, considering the fact that when you use the rope to get yourself out of tight situations, it was really just simple, but it worked well. So that was a great new mechanic that they added that I was talking about earlier. When you add something new and it works really good, but it's been in other games, but you just perfect it, that's what makes the game a lot more unique. So, can everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Anybody else have anything to add to the question?
I just agree with Chaos on the whole thing. It's like, what would be revolutionary nowadays, except for the visuals. But if I had to say, but I will say a gameplay that improved over time was Uncharted, in my opinion.
yes.
There are very few games that come along and reinvent the wheel. I mostly see that from indie games, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys think, just a add-on question with the Tomb Raider series, did you guys think that they reinvented the wheel with the reboot over the classic series?
No.
No.
Dang.
Yeah.
Rand, would you say there's not enough Daniel Craig ass?
What the fuck? Shut up.
I didn't know Reapers was obsessed with that.
Nah, I just Ren saw it in that one movie.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like, man.
yeah, thanks. I want to burn my eyes out now.
But to answer your question, Ren, about the whole inventing the wheel, not really. They didn't really reinvent it.
They just changed the formula to be more of a modernized.
They modernized it.
Yeah.
Which, it's okay to modernize things, but to what extent?
I guess the theme was pretty cool, considering the fact that it went from being, this big, lavish globetrotter to all about survival. So, I think that theme is pretty cool, and I would like to see more games do it where you're out in the wilderness alone. I would like to see a more gritty, maybe Snake Eater type game where you have to heal yourself, and you have to fend for supplies. You have to fight off animals, stuff like that.
That would have been badass.
That would have been badass.
I think in terms of gameplay, the reboot should have taken some inspiration from the Crystal Dynamics games, like the Underworld and what was the other one? It was Underworld and the other fucking game I can't remember.
Well, then again, the reboot is made by Crystal Dynamics.
I just think that they should have made it more like those games. Like, still tell the prequel amateur story, but still have all the tombs that you had in those games and everything. It's that. But my point is those games still felt like the older games, just with a new coat of paint. And the reboot feels like a complete departure in terms of gameplay. So I think that would have been a good idea if they kind of would have maybe kept with that formula. But I don't know. I'm not opposed to change. I'm just saying that it would be more true to the original games if they kept that. But I guess I understand they wanted to do something different with the reboots.
I'm surprised that they don't sort of, because it seems like the reboot Tomb Raider has been adopted into mainline stuff now. That's the new thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm surprised this wasn't like a side game, and maybe they could have went back to original Tomb Raider where you're like jumping off stuff, you're doing crazy acrobatics, you're fighting off international terrorists, you're fucking them up, stuff like that, without changing the formula too much, keeping that old formula that people loved and then putting this new reboot as a side game.
Yeah. Right, yeah, because Underworld and those other games, they still had the whole thing with exploring tombs, but the only real difference there was there was more dudes they threw at you, more stuff, more monsters. It was just more modernized, but it still felt like a Tomb Raider game.
Man, Tomb Raider ain't doing so hot in this comparison.
Yeah, well, I mean, comparing it to like the PS2 games, like Underworld and the other one I can't fucking remember right now. Legend. Yeah, that was.
I'll put it like this: I still like Tomb Raider, even the reboot. I think it has some distinct qualities.
I like the reboot. I mean, it's hard to say it's feels like a Tomb Raider game, but yeah.
So I can see where people are coming from, where they feel like it's not up to snuff with something like Uncharted, which is totally fine because this is a discussion. So we're going to continue on to the last 3 questions. I want, who didn't read yet? Mr. Brandon, could you read off the document, please, with the next questions? If he can.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Okay, which of the series had the most replay value in your eyes? Tomb Raider, any games, or Uncharted? Want to give my quick opinion? I kind of gotta go with Uncharted about a little bit for like reasons like in 2, 3, and 4. You can change modifications in the game to like drastically change the gameplay, either infinite ammo or different types of guns, or even change how the screen looks. Yeah, that's just like a little fun experiment to do in the games.
Yeah, you could do the
Just
same with
for that
Uncharted
little
4.
reason alone.
You could do the same with
Yeah, I know. I
Uncharted
said
4.
1, 2, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I would have to agree Uncharted just because it's generally a more memorable game than the reboot is, or the Tomb Raider reboot.
And guys, multiplayer. If you count multiplayer into
Yeah,
this,
multiplayer.
the multiplayer for Uncharted just
Tomb Raider 1 multiplayer.
The game just has more. Uncharted just has more memorable characters. It has really awesome set pieces, which Tomb Raider really doesn't have much of at all. So I would just say in comparison, it's just more. It has way more replayability.
I'll put it like this. I'll give you guys a bit of a synopsis for when I played the Tomb Raider reboot multiplayer. I booted it up, and I started as a guy. He looked like he had shit for dreads. And when I tried to move, it seemed like he jumped at about 2 frames per second. And then I cut it off, and I said, I'm never playing this multiplayer again.
Damn.
I couldn't even play it. It was unplayable. I don't know if it was really that laggy, but I think it was forgettable because a lot of people did not talk about the Tomb Raider reboot multiplayer, and I don't see many people playing it on PC. So there you have it. Uncharted is still active today, so I think, for the most part, being a competitive Uncharted player, that multiplayer really got good. I didn't like the multiplayer in Uncharted 3 because they brought in a lot of bullshit, like kickbacks, but 4 is pretty balanced. It's very balanced, and I like playing it to this day. So, is that it for that question, or shall we move on to the next two?
Let's move on to the next two.
Okay, Mr. Levy Amish Man.
Alright, overall, which series had the best controls? Any of the Tomb Raider games or any of the Uncharted games?
Uncharted. Yeah, I feel like we did.
No, we did a replay value, or...
No. I remember us bringing up like better controls.
Like
gameplay.
Yeah, we did
kind
sort of cover that. I would say Uncharted for the most part. So.
Yeah, we kind of did when we were talking about like revolutionary features.
Gameplay.
I don't mind. In my opinion, I'm indifferent. I would say I did not like the Uncharted 1 controls initially, but eventually as the series progressed, it got better. It felt a little bit more tighter. For the Tomb Raider reboot, there's something about it, like, sometimes you try to do certain attempts and movements, and it feels a little bit too loose for my taste. I don't know why. It's not bad, but it definitely could be better. I haven't played Rise yet, so I can't really tell you how the controls are in that game. Mr. Levy the Amish Man, maybe you want to clarify on Rise. Are the controls good or bad?
They feel they're kind of like the same from like the first from the first one. Like, they weren't bad. I didn't mind the controls for the reboot, but...
They are bad, but there's something about them that really doesn't make it any special or tight. I don't know.
That puts it on edge.
Well, you always want those controls to feel tight as opposed to loose.
Shut up. No one wants it loose.
It's a sex thing.
How the fuck do you know?
All right, well, this last question, I don't know, because I don't know what else Crystal Dynamics did outside of Tomb Raider, but last but not least, which studio do you think produces better quality games between each other, Naughty Dog or Crystal Dynamics? I'm sure it's pretty unanimous as Naughty Dog, but I'm wondering what else Crystal Dynamics has done. Let me actually look.
I'm not too sure. I think they were involved with... Were they involved with Time Splitters? Or is that somebody else?
I think that was Free Radical.
Free Radical.
Let me look this up for you, like all the games that you've made. Okay, list of...
Everybody's fact-checking.
Crash and Burn. They made Gex.
I remember Gex.
Pandemonium.
Cool.
Yeah, Gex was good. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver 2, Blood Omen 2, Legacy of Kain, Whiplash, Project Snowblind, Tomb Raider, and then the rest of the games are just Tomb Raider.
Damn. I remember Gex and Legacy
Project
of Kain.
Snowblind.
Was it good?
Oh,
It was good, but strangely enough, it was apparently supposed to be a Deus Ex game originally.
Weird.
they made another game called Walt Disney World Quest Magical Racing
Oh.
Tour.
Oh my
Everyone
God.
remembers that game.
I don't.
Oh, do you want me to say something that's actually kind of hilarious?
Go ahead.
But
There's a Disney game developed by Atlas.
Really?
It is
I don't
called
believe
My
you.
Disney. It is called My Disney Kitchen, and I did not believe this because someone did a stream of it, and I did not believe it was Atlas. I looked it up, and sure enough, Atlas developed it.
Ren, did you know that Atlas made the Friday the 13th game for NES?
What?
Yep,
They made that game. Yep.
They made that.
Oh my God.
Wait,
That
wait,
game was,
what?
ugh.
Atlas would like to forget about that.
That's why it was kind of like SMT with like the 3D inside the houses and shit.
It's so
Wait.
ridiculously hard, though. Holy shit.
Exactly.
Wait,
You
you.
never escape, Jason.
Oh, you god damn it!
But yeah, Naughty Dog definitely had
Naughty Dog, they made
better
more
games.
strictly acclaimed games.
Well, Bethesda made the Home Alone game for the NES.
Come on, Naughty Dog. They got Jack. They had The Last of Us. They have Uncharted. It's
Crash
just
Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, it's pretty much
Jack and Dexter.
no contest at this point.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider's iconic though, but Naughty Dog is more critically acclaimed.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, so pretty much I will say the winner of this podcast by a landslide is Uncharted.
Ayo.
For the next one, which is going to be Sleeping Dogs versus True Crime, it might be a little bit of an indifference, but we'll see what happens with that. That podcast is coming next month.
Pork buns.
That's actually a
versus
weird idea
Pops.
for a podcast because Sleeping Dogs was originally intended to be a true crime game.
It was, yeah, but I guess you could say.
Are you comparing it to like the older games or something? Or...
No, I'm comparing it strictly to the True Crime series, which I guess you could say because I didn't want it to be True Crime or Sleeping Dogs versus GTA because obviously GTA is going to win. I wanted it to be something.
They're just very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be similar to something that was going to be a true crime game, so I guess that's a little bit more fair.
Man,
Yeah.
Tribe's so
I
good.
mean, I would compare True Crime more, well, not True Crime, but Sleeping Dogs more to Yakuza, except maybe for the shooting mechanics.
GTA versus Saints Row.
Although Yakuza is really different, so I don't know.
Fuck, dude. Not Fight for New York. Fucking True Crimes, New York. That was fucking a good game.
Yes,
I need to play those. I actually
Yes,
haven't
it
played any of
was.
the True Crime games, but if they're anything like Sleeping Dogs, I'll probably enjoy them.
They're pretty good.
Yes and no. There's similarities, but there's differences as well, like some major
Yeah, I'm
differences.
sure.
Yeah,
It's
like they
like-
have stealth segments, I think, that Sleeping Dogs either didn't have or it
stealth
wasn't as good.
segments.
And they had like a trank gun too. It's a little bit better, but I
Alright,
would
we'll
say
get
I
into
hope they're
that.
good
I
stealth
don't know.
segments and not just complete
You're
shit.
spoiling it.
yeah.
We'll get into that in another.
All
I
right.
don't think that's something we should really discuss because then it'll become True Crime versus Sleeping Dog.
Oh yeah, we don't want that now, so we're saving that for later. I agree.
Right.
So we're gonna move on to the Overwatch segment, which is about the Overwatch Online. There's not that many questions here, but we're gonna go through them. So for the people who play Overwatch, who's your favorite character in Overwatch?
McCree. Fuck everybody else. McCree.
I'll go with Genji. Why not? Genji's pretty well. Scumbag Bastion too. Yeah.
Bastion. No. Nah. I would go with the character I usually play a lot of, which is Soldier 76.
Genji, Days of the Blade.
Yeah.
Onimusha.
No, that's not Onimusha, but I'm gonna go with definitely Best Girl Diva.
Yeah.
And then Widowmaker, cause great support class. And then there is one other character that I really like to play sometimes, and that is it wasn't Bastion. It was
Genji.
no, it wasn't Genji. I'm actually really not good with Genji.
There's
but,
Roadhog. There's Reinhardt.
who was it that I was playing last
What
time?
class is it at least?
Junkrat.
Farah.
Farah, yeah, that's who it was. Farah.
Sure.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, but I really like her.
I would have to say Reaper, Hanzo and Genji. Hashtag Shimada Empire.
Man, James has the best Hanzo fucking like ultimate fucking voice. It's fucking great. Go ahead and do it, James.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
The actual voice? The thing where I play the voice clip.
Nah, whatever.
Die.
That's rude.
Alright. What were you gonna say, Levy? My bad.
No, I'm just like, it's just. I think I was just reading a comic. It's like it's making fun of Parappa the Rapper and Reaper. It's like Reaper. Why? I never believed.
Man, McCree is so good. Flashbang into Fan the Hammer is the best.
Yeah,
I can just imagine he like took like a nice big token. It's like it's high noon.
Ren, you want to talk about how Overwatch? Yeah, you want to talk about how Overwatch killed your PS4?
Shut up!
Yeah, because you want to know why it killed his PS4? Reapers told him to play it.
That's right. And it was like, oh man, this is awesome. All these shit games that Ren makes me play.
Uncharted 4 is better. No, I'm kidding.
Well, then again, Reapers just said that Uncharted 4 was a shit game.
So
Well,
it is
Reapers can eat a
console,
dick. That's what he can do.
I have rare exclusive footage of what Renegade sounded like when his PS4 broke.
Let's hear it. Let's hear this exclusive.
Let's move on to the next one. Dom, could you read off number 2, please?
How is the online stability to you all? I would
think it's
say,
good.
I would say it's good. I don't think I've really had any problem with the online.
I didn't either. I had
No. Nobody's ever teleporting around like idiots.
Oh, except Ren dropped out of the game because his PS4 fried.
No,
Yeah.
Tracer, because fuck you if you play Tracer.
No one's using the force like me in Rainbow Six Siege, and they're playing that game. So you know.
Then again, Tracer has no last. Why you praise her ass then?
Online shit is good.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't have any problems either from what I played, so I guess we can move on to...
He doesn't have any problems with Tracer's ass.
Well, I didn't say all that. Let's move on to number 3. So, did the recent patches make the game more fun or a hindrance overall?
Man, they nerfed McCree. You guys go fuck off. He was good the way he was.
McCree, the high noon guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't played for like about a month, so I can't really say if the new patches are any good, but I'm hoping they are.
They
Because
fixed
I know
the
that
duplicated characters, I think, and fucking
Yeah.
Torbjorn, because that character is no fun game.
Fuck Torbjorn.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
good.
I
That-
heard
that sounds good already.
when I heard all the good things that the patches did, I was immediately like glad. But the thing is, I hadn't played the game in a while, so I couldn't really experience it firsthand, just by word of mouth.
I heard Diva's a monster now. That's good, because she was really weak.
Till she
Like-
gets out of that mech, then the
Like,
booty is
if
mine.
you know how when you ultimate
No,
with Diva,
I will fight you. 1v1 me, mate.
Man, her was a monster.
you know when you ultimate with Diva, like her
She
own
sucks.
mech can blow you up.
Mm-hmm.
You're too close to it now with the update patch. Like it doesn't affect you anymore.
What do you
Oh,
mean,
that's
does it affect teammates?
No, like
No,
the ultimate doesn't like kill Diva. Like her own mech doesn't blow up and kill her if she's too close.
that's good. That
Yeah.
was I remember that was a problem with her, where it's
Yeah,
like
that was
you would sometimes be, sometimes you would try to get away from that blast, and it's like you still got hit.
Yeah.
So it was never really like clear as to how far you were supposed to be.
yeah. Even though you were far away from it enough. Nope, you still get killed because Diva's a cunt.
I love
Hmm.
Diva.
All right.
Like
Reaper is
what
best
exactly?
waifu.
What exactly did the explosion do? Like, does it like take some of your health away?
It kills you if you're
No,
close. you're
I meant
fucking
like
toast.
if you weren't like. No, I know that already, but when they updated it
Wait, what do you mean? Before the update or after?
after.
After it doesn't hurt her, period.
Yeah, like
No.
you could just chase the people running away from the blast and just shoot them while they're running.
Okay, good.
All right, so we're going to move on to number 4. What new feature do you think they could add to the online?
I got nothing for that. Truth be told.
Me neither.
I would say for I guess if you're going to talk about features, like new game types, maybe, so that way it's not the same 3 game types. And I know they were talking about doing some, which is good, but it's like, what do they have in mind? Because so far we have just like defend a point and then payload. That's like, or well, technically you have to defend the point, and if you can't defend the point, then it's a payload.
Yeah,
prevent the payload.
They could probably add more waifus. And also, I mean, James might disagree, but I think what they could probably add, which would probably be kind of hard, is capture the flag.
Yes. Anything new would be fine in my opinion.
Yeah.
Add more waffles.
I don't know about team deathmatch. I know Ren, for one, has been like, man, needs team deathmatch. Like, no, I don't know.
I like team deathmatch. I think that if they put that mode in there, they would add more.
But do you like waffles?
Yeah, let's put a waffle mode in there. Who gets the biggest fucking waffle wins?
Fuck.
I would actually disagree. I think that game is better off without team deathmatch. Because I just think that like with team deathmatch is just such a generic game type that you can really get in any game. So I would prefer the more objective-based game types because it gives you something to do, and it's not like every person for themselves. Because that's the thing with team deathmatch is that it's every man for themselves. No one really actually works as a team in that particular game type. So it would be much better to see something that is much different and maybe unique to that style of game, but also something that, rewards players for using teamwork and actually makes you, use teamwork. Otherwise, you would get completely destroyed. I want to see more stuff like that.
I agree, but if it came down to the wire of putting in a lot more content, then you're gonna be brainstorming, saying that it's either gonna be down to either you all kill each other or work together. So when it comes to variety's sake, it's not that much that they can really add in besides that, unless they brainstorm more ideas or they do something that's not so boring. Like they did some shit like freeze tag, like they do in Doom. Not a lot of people like that already. So it has to be something that's fun, but at the same time, I think as generic as deathmatch is, it's at least something that a lot of people, can just jump in, get into, no problem, just like that. So I think that, they can probably add in some more varied modes, no problem, with objective like capture the flag, like you guys were saying earlier. I mean, or they could turn it into something new, like you take something, you're the VIP. We've seen stuff like that in Uncharted with some of the modes in there, so they could always make it diverse, in my opinion.
What do you guys think about crossplay, if that were ever to be a thing? Yay or nay, and why?
Fucking man, you're gonna be playing with those mouse and keyboard wizards. You're gonna be getting wrecked.
The fucking mouse and keyboard makes it almost like it's just unfair.
All those fucking Counter-Strike Globe fucking people.
Oh yes.
On that shit.
Yes. Unless it was a filter, then I personally don't mind fighting against PC players, but yeah, I would say have a filter, man. Most definitely, because some people ain't gonna want to be playing with them.
The game's also on Xbox One, correct? So
Yeah.
Maybe like crossplay between the consoles would be a lot.
Microsoft will never allow it, though.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but they won't allow it.
Are you sure? Because last I recall, when it came to crossplay in general, Rocket League is supposed to be getting crossplay, and from my understanding, the developers are just waiting on Sony to approve of it. So it really just
Sony won't.
It really just depends on who says yay or nay.
I think the bridge for crossplay is a lot more friendly between PC and whatever console they choose. With Sony and Microsoft, has always been either someone has to prove something on the other side or not. And with Rocket League, it was already like, I think day one they had crossplay between PC and the PS4, or it wasn't as long as the Xbox to PS4 thing going on right now. So I think that those negotiations are still going to be in process. But for now, PC is probably the best bet if they do crossplay.
Right.
So we have the last question here, which is number 5. What do you think of the character Anna if you played with her already? And if you could make a character in Overwatch, what weapons and abilities would they have?
I'll pass on the Anna part because I didn't really play as her.
Me
I haven't
neither.
played her. I think we're all waiting for season 2.
But if they're
plays of it,
if they could make a character, I don't know about that.
I want to say like Spy from Team Fortress, where you can dress up.
That
as the
would be
opposing
awesome.
character.
That would be awesome. That way they can they can actually infiltrate the payload.
You can. It's called Reaper.
Yeah.
Better. I mean, Ren, are you aware of Spy from Team Fortress 2?
Yeah, but I really didn't play Team Fortress 2 that much, so I don't know all their abilities.
It's like Spy can dress up like he looks like a red team person.
So
He
he's
also can
decoy?
one-shot you, which I don't want.
Yeah, he looks like a red team, and like he copies somebody's gamer tag, so it looks like somebody from your team.
Oh, people are gonna hate that nigga.
And all it takes is just for him to get behind you and stab you, and it's one hit kill.
Yeah, no, I don't want the one-hit kill bullshit.
So you gotta be like very, very careful.
You know, to me that sounds like Tracer on steroids.
It does.
She needs to get out of the game, goddammit. She's annoying. Terrible.
Hey, can you imagine, James, if fucking you could do that with Reaper and just do ultimate bind everybody? Fucking
No,
done.
I'm not doing that. Look, I can do that already. It's called like port in your face.
Port in your face? Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to know.
I don't either.
Alright, has anyone here played with Anna?
No.
Damn.
I heard she's like a
played
healing
with
sniper.
General?
She is. Yeah, she is. Like, she has like healing sniper bullets.
I heard she can also make you overpowered. Like, I seen somebody like two-shot people with Genji's ultimate now.
You know what? You know what she reminds me of? And it's Team Fortress 2. She reminds me of Medic.
A bit. I mean, Mercy's kind of like Medic too.
But Mercy like has to be up close, and it could be from a distance.
Right.
I do want to answer the second portion of that as far as like making a new character. I guess what I would do is maybe like make another Japanese character. What weapon I would give them? I would say like maybe like a
Halberd.
Huh?
A halberd.
No, I actually wouldn't want to give them a melee style weapon. I actually was thinking of a firearm like more akin to like a Japanese musket. If you're more familiar with like Japanese history, so like I think that would be just a lot. I guess that would be like very interesting if they could do something like that, or maybe like give him like a cannon of sorts or something like that. But I just think that would be interesting, and maybe they can kind of like somehow relate that character to Genji and Hanzo.
Make it like the guy from Yakuza, Kiryu.
Something like that.
You
I
know
kind
what
of
would be-
want a character like that, but like, do you know Ninja Gaiden 1 Doku? Someone like that would be hype. Like a big ass armored samurai would be awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what else would be cool? I think maybe like some sort of classic samurai that is infused with like sci-fi weapons. So maybe like he has a classic musket that's like a laser cannon or something. That'd be fucking awesome.
Apparently, there's already rumors of what the next character's gimmick's gonna be, and I heard it's gonna be invisibility.
Oh, so he's gonna be Vector.
Probably.
Oh my god.
It's kind of broken though.
ORC 2.0.
Why don't they make like a fire character to counter fucking May?
Fuck May. If you play May, fuck you.
Is there a
I
counter
know.
for? Is there a counter for? What is it for Tracer? Because
No, there isn't.
there really
No one
needs
knows.
to be. There really needs to be if nobody
She
knows.
needs
what
to
the
not
counter
be allowed to heal when she does her turn back time bullshit. That's fucking unfair.
Like, okay, you know how fucking Reapers was talking about the spy class from TF2?
Mhm.
Implement one of the characters to have a jammer. Like,
Oh, yeah,
if a Tracer tries to teleport away, she can't do it.
The jam in my sentry.
Or they can also jam turrets. They could do that too. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Alright, guys, so we're reaching an hour for the recording, so I think that's going to be it. The next topic for Rebellion's Edge Podcast 2 will be True Crime versus Sleeping Dogs, and I guess for the online component, we can talk about Siege, because everyone in our group has played it.
IQ best ass.
Yo, Operation Skull Rain Tournament. When's that happening?
I guess we can sort of talk about that too. If it hasn't happened yet, we can talk about our experience with the tourney and everything, and we can also talk about what we think about the new update. So I think Dom's gonna be
Season 3.
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty interested in that. This is the end of Rebellion's Edge. This podcast went pretty well. I can't wait till the next episode. And that is a wrap for this Rebellion's Edge podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this compare and contrast series. We'll be coming back each month. This will be a monthly podcast. So what this means is we'll have a podcast a month, and that's about it. It's not going to be weekly like the TCP podcast. I think that is a little bit more better. It attunes more finely with our schedule to have this podcast at a monthly date. But until we return, we will be talking in the next podcast, like I said, about Rainbow Six Siege Online and True Crime versus Sleeping Dogs. But for now, I am going to segue over into the fan segment, and this was submitted by a Smoke Gaming, Mr. 563 Gaming on Twitter, and he is a very cool guest. He wanted to submit this after I asked him, and he's going to give his opinions on what he thought about Overwatch Online. So hopefully you guys enjoy this tell-in segment of a fan talking about his experience with Overwatch, and I will see you guys next time. Renegade Operative out.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Smoke, and I run a YouTube channel called 563 Gaming, and Overwatch. It's probably one of my favorite releases of 2016. If not my favorite release of 2016, and that's for several different reasons. It's a really good MOBA as well as a first-person shooter, and they did a really amazing job of making it interesting. And it almost feels like I've never played the same exact match twice, even though I've played all the levels already. I've learned all the maps. I've played most of the different characters, not all of them, but I've got some time in on most of the characters at this point, and it's, still feels like a fresh game every single time. And I'm sorry, that's my wife's phone going off. But yeah, it's a really fun and amazing game, especially with my friends. If you have a group of people, I mean, even just one other person that's, you're in a chat party with, it makes the game that much more interesting and fun. Especially because communication is key. If you're playing this by yourself and nobody's really in the chat or using, communication, it can kind of get frustrating. So that's one of the downfalls of the game. It also, the graphics aren't exactly like the best graphics I've ever seen. They're almost a little cartoony in a way, but the upside to that is the frame rate on, the PlayStation, which is, pretty well known for locking a lot of games in at 30 frames per second. This game plays at 60, and that's pretty amazing, and it's fun, and it, keeps the action sort of high octane, especially if you're playing with a speedier character like Genji or Tracer. And also, like, the depth of the game as far as all the different characters and all the ways that you can use them to complement other characters, especially if you're playing, like I said, if you're playing with a group of 6, this game is hands down one of the best first-person shooter games I've ever played. As long as you have that full team of 6 and you can communicate with everybody and everybody's working together, I mean, I could sit on this game for hours at a time with a team of 6 and be completely fine with that. Win or lose, I mean, the game is that well done and that fun. I mean, but no game is perfect, and it does come with its issues, and they're still tweaking things. So, certain characters seem to be a little bit more overpowered than others, and they're still tweaking and nerfing this and buffing this character and nerfing that character, and That's a good thing, though. That means that Blizzard is active and they're listening to the feedback that the players are giving them on who's too powerful, who's not powerful enough, and things of that nature. So it really is, that Blizzard has done an amazing job at keeping track of the fans and the players' input on all of this. I mean, they're sticking to their guns on certain things, of course, but I mean, the developer is going to see things a little differently than your average player most times. But for the most part, they seem to be taking everything into account and making adjustments accordingly. So, there's no issues there, really. And like I said, it runs at 60 frames per second, and, not a lot of games can say that, especially on the PlayStation 4. So that's a big plus for the game. And yeah, I mean, even though the graphics aren't the greatest graphics I've ever seen, they're well done in their art style, or however you want to say that. They're, very well done in that sense. Are they super realistic? No, there's no blood in the game. But that's not what the game is about. It's not about, watching heads explode. It's about, being competitive and winning matches and working together as a team to achieve a goal, the victory of the match, whether that be a defending match, a payload match. One of my biggest things about the game that I wish that they would add in is more game types. Currently it feels like you've pretty much got, you're only going to be doing one of maybe 4 or 5 different things, and that's either defending a point, defending a payload, or capturing a payload and then escorting it, attacking a point, or there's one where it's kind of like both teams have to capture the same point and hold it. So I would like to see maybe, I don't know if a straight team deathmatch would really work in Overwatch because of the way the characters are set up. I mean, it really has to be a goal-oriented game, but I could see, maybe some capture the flag or, things of that nature, or just different styles of objective games altogether. I mean, sure, I wouldn't mind going in for like a free-for-all match occasionally, or, but if they did that, they need to kind of narrow it down and make it, only certain characters, like attack characters, should do like the deathmatch games. Because, I mean, if you go in there with a Roadhog or, I don't know. It seems to me like some of the characters in a team deathmatch would be way overpowered. But as far as like the, more goal-oriented matches, I would like to see a little bit more depth and some different types of fighting. Because, I mean, eventually, even though at this point the game still feels like a new match every time I play it, because you're always up against somebody else and you're always matched up pretty well with another team. So, it's always tough and challenging. Well, not always. There's some matches where we go in there and we get our butts kicked, and there's some matches where we go in there and just completely annihilate the opposing team. But then for the majority of the time, it feels like our team is pretty evenly matched, and it's a good back and forth battle. But yeah, all in all, I like the way they've done the game on the whole. I mean, like I said, if you're playing by yourself and you're looking for a good single-player experience, Overwatch is definitely not the game for you. But if you've got a good group of people that you play with that all have this game and everybody gets in there and you have good communication, and it's people that you've been playing with, especially if you've been playing with them for a while and you know each other's habits and what types of characters you like to play, this game really is amazing, and you have to experience it because it's addicting. Once you start playing, especially when, like I said, when you're on a team or a good team and you're doing well, I mean, you don't want to stop. And like I said, it's an amazing game. I really don't have much to say other than that. But I guess I should talk about the new character, Ana. I can tell you that I haven't really used her much. I've played her once or twice, maybe, for a grand total of maybe 20, 30 minutes, which isn't much in this game to put into any character. And I don't know, I didn't particularly like playing as Ana, but I don't do well in the support class, and I don't do well playing the sniper generally. I'm either a defensive character, like Bastion or Trubjorn, or I'm an attack character like Reaper or Soldier 76. I might even occasionally play Genji. I could tell you I don't like playing against the character, especially if the person knows how to use her. I've gotten my butt kicked by Ana a few times, and because she's got the sniper rifle, which is very effective, especially against stationary targets like a turret, like a Bastion when you go into turret mode, or Trabjorn's turret. I mean, she seems to take those out relatively quickly. I mean, just a few shots and it's done. She also has the little sleep dart thing. I mean, I don't know exactly if that's the right terminology, but I've been knocked out by that thing several times, and it's pissed me off. I didn't lie. I'm not even gonna lie. It really made me angry because then I had to sit there, even though I was my character was asleep. I had to sit there and watch the person execute me. So it was just, it's irritating, but she's effective. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her if you know how to use her and you like using that type of character. She's a good addition to the character list in Overwatch. Like I said, I don't like playing against her, but I got a friend of mine that has used her a little bit, and he plays well as her, and he likes her, and it's just not my particular style of play. I'm more either the aggressor or the defender. That's I even occasionally you'll catch me playing a tank. I'll be a Reinhardt or a Roadhog every now and then too. You don't really catch me being the healer very often. It's not my thing. And even though she's not technically a healer, she falls into that support class. Like her super buffs somebody else, and it's cool. It's great. It's just not my personal favorite type of character to play. So yeah. I mean, that about covers it. I mean, it's an amazing game, and if you haven't picked up Overwatch yet, you need to, especially if you've got a good group of friends that play it and want to play it with you. But if you're just a solo guy or girl, and you don't play a lot of team-based games, and you don't have a good core group of gamers that you play with on a consistent basis, then you might want to skip Overwatch, even though it is an amazing game. Single player is just not there, not for me anyway. I hardly ever play unless my friends are on, because I'd rather, it's just a totally different experience. If you don't have communication, it's almost pointless to play it. So, I mean, unless you like getting your butts kicked a lot. I mean, you might get lucky, and if you're really good at first person shooters, and you get in there with a random team of people that are really good first-person shooters, and you guys can dominate, yeah, that's fine. But communication really is key. So, yeah, I can't stress that anymore, and I think that's going to wrap it up for me. Later.